Yo, what is up, guys? We're here on Showdown today with another installment of team building. Today we're going to be using Reuniclus. You guys saw my last vid. I talked about this thing. I think is very underrated in the current meta game. And yeah, we're going to be building with that. And what you're seeing is the finished product. But for anybody that's a new sub, I want to show how I build. Show the process, and not just show the full team. So yeah, we're gonna get to that in a sec. Before we start the building portion of the video, I want to talk about what Reuniclus does and what role it plays on a team. This is going to influence how the rest of the team is built and the set Reuniclus opts to use. So let's get into it. Reuniclus is mainly a Pokemon that wants to abuse opposing defensive mons. So for example, Blissey is setup fodder, as they can only Seismic Toss, which you just recover up, and Side Shock every other turn, and it'll eventually lose. Clefable, unaware, Store Power goes through that, and Side Shock, they try to Calm Mind up alongside you, they will also lose because Side Shock goes through defenses. Corviknight cannot do much damage to Reuniclus, even though it resists the moves it usually likes to run. Outside of Thunder, it can't actually touch it. Ferrothorn has always been setup fodder for Reuniclus. Knockoff is the only thing that it fears, but even then, it'll be able to just beat the entire team if it gets to +6 versus Ferrothorn. Regardless, Heatran, Taunt is an issue, but Reuniclus can Focus Blast. Mandibuzz, again, outside the rare Whirlwind, which is actually picking up use in tournament play, not much Mandibuzz can do to Reuniclus. Moltres, Mystical Fire is annoying, but if you have enough boost on the Spadef side, Store Power is going to do a lot, or in fact just to a Gale. Opposing Psychics such as Slowbro and Slowking Galar are setup fodder. Sludge Bomb is not doing much to Reuniclus, especially if you're a more Spadef variant, and you just get a couple more Calm Minds up and then you beat those. Toxapex as well loses to Reuniclus with a bit of speed investment so that they can't haze you as you Calm Mind or attack them. Yeah, so things like that. Like Reuniclus mainly wants to abuse really defensive style of teams, balance and stall, because they're actually able to break stall with access to Store Power, being able to go through Unaware Quagsire, Unaware Clefable, things of that nature. And it's not really meant to do anything versus offense. It just doesn't have the speed. And typically Reuniclus will get overwhelmed versus a more offensive team, and it won't be able to set up or do anything really. So it won't be contributing much in those matchups, but overall Reuniclus is very solid in any other type of team style, and it's very versatile. Can run Side Shock plus Thunder, Stored Power, Focus Blast, can run Life Orb as the item, Leftovers, for that consistent recovery, or even Grassy Seed / Electric Seed if you're running this alongside Tapu Koko and Rillaboom, which gives you an immunity to knockoff essentially. So that's Reuniclus. I just wanted to get through that real quick because I feel like most people, when they do these type of videos, they don't explain what the mon is supposed to do. And yeah, so there's that. So Reuniclus, well, gotta ask yourself, what typically switches into a Reuniclus? Well, there's like really bulky steals, Corviknight, but that loses, like I said, to Thunder or just Stored Power after about +5 or 6. And then there's other things like Magina, Specs Magina more so because it can trick, which means you cannot set up, and Reuniclus will be crippled for the entirety of the game. So Reuniclus does not want to face a trick Magina. Melmetal with the Assault Vest, Tink's Focus Blast. So even if they catch that on the switch, it won't do much to it. And Iron Bash not only has a chance to flinch, but it does way too much to Reuniclus to the point where it can't even set up reliably on it. So Magina, Melmetal, T-Tar, Capividin, Fast Crunch is gonna do a lot. Or if it's like a choice band variant, which is rare, but it's a possibility. And Aegislash, probably one of the best walls to Reuniclus, as +1 Thunder is not doing anything. And Reuniclus typically does not carry Shadow Ball, as there's not much reason to. It doesn't hit much in tier. Psychic types are going to lose to you anyway, so you don't need to run that. So yeah, you have Magearnas, Melmeadows, Aegislash, and T-Tar, like the main switch-ins. Now if you notice, all of those are grounded. So what I wanted to do was pair with Spikes. That's just the best thing to do with Mons. Have more grounded checks, so you know all of them, you know, they're not flying types. So Spikes really help, you know, beat those down over the long term of the game. So I was thinking, you know, what Spiker should I pair with Reuniclus? Ferrothorn, but I kind of use Ferrothorn a lot, so I kind of wanted to switch it up. Mew plus Reuniclus makes no sense. Leaves me open to too many things just defensively, you know, such as ghost types, Spectre, Dragapult, etc. I was thinking Skarm, because is pretty old but effective pair, you know, tried and true. Gonna be going Rocking Helmet. Skarmory is nice with Reuniclus because it's able to check things that can overwhelm Reuniclus. Like I mentioned, physical attackers such as Kartana, Banded Knockoff is gonna do a ton. And even just to a KO, even with max defense investment. Rillaboom with Banded Woodhammers, Garchomps with the Swords Dance. They typically don't carry Fire Fang, so Skarm can wall. You know, Swords Dance, Excadrills, things like that. I'm just naming everything on the top of my head as I just go through the tier. But yeah, Spikes are just excellent alongside Reuniclus for the reasons I mentioned, and even Weavile, which is, you know, so pretty underrated threat at the moment. Roost Spikes is like, you know, mandatory. Body Press, I'd say, is also pretty mandatory. Last slot I'm going to leave blank for now. Actually, I'm going to leave both slots blank on these on Reuniclus and Skarm, because again, once the team is completed, I'll know what I want exactly. I don't like filling in slots as I go. It just makes it confusing. And I'll most likely have to change it once the team is done. So Skarm, Roost Spikes, Body Press, super standard. Skarm is actually OU. It says UU right now, but it actually have to bump to OU, which it definitely deserves. It's a bit better than Celesteela, just because of access to spikes and super high defense, which is relevant in this meta with a lot of, you know, super strong physical attackers. So we got Skarm. Very super over Reuniclus, you know, is able to tank. Again, most really strong physical attacks, like, you know, banded knockoffs, knockoffs from Obstagoon, Weavile, all those things. Yeah, so Skarm. I was thinking, you know, pretty weak to fire. So Cinderace, Heatran, Volcarona, and other things such as Dragapult, Hydreigon, Magearna, Spectre, because, you know, Spec Shadow Ball just blows Skarm away. And Powerball plus U-turn from Cinderace does a lot to Reuniclus, even if Fizz Def can't really recover that off too well. So something that can take on fire types or ghost at the same time. I was looking to the tier. I was like, there's not much that can do both of those things beside Blissey, and I was like, yeah, let's go with that. Like, I know it's Skarm Bliss, but it's effective. Old school core here. Blissey being able to wall like half the mons I named. Somewhat Heatran, if not Taunt, though. They have to hit Magma Storm and all of that to beat Blissey, which is just unreliable. So you could just have them toss it down, which opens up Reuniclus. It's like the best Volcarona counter in the game. One of the best Dragapult counters in the game outside Dragon Dance variants. Beats Hydreigon 1v1, beats Spectre or Shadow Ball, and beats Magearna somewhat, if they're not, you know, boosting up with Calm Mind and Store Powering you. So yeah, Blissey was just best, I thought, here. I don't know what the set is going to be yet. Obviously, you know, one Shadow Ball for Spect here, and Seismic Toss most likely. Max Blissey. I know this team looks pretty, you know, disgusting so far, but you're gonna add some offensive stuff at the end. Don't worry. As Skarm Bliss, yeah, pretty solid. Blissey, when it just fits on the right team, is good. I see people make the mistake of throwing Blissey on teams all the time and it doesn't fit. And yeah, so next member, we need something for Cinderace still, because it's really weak to fire at the moment. High jump kick just destroys Blissey. So I was looking to the tier. I thought about Chomp, but I mean, it doesn't have recovery, which I want on this type of team, and it just doesn't fill enough roles outside Stealth Rock. Powder was another option. Landorus T, but I don't think the defensive Landorus T is a reliable answer to Cinderace over the course of a long game, because Powerball does not make contact, so they could just keep coming in, not take any damage from rocks and keep Powerballing you down. And if you're not rocking helmet, they get Powerball into U-turn, and it's just a poor situation for Landorus. Really, like in Sword Shield, I prefer offensive. Landorus just does more, I feel. And then I found Moltres. Provides defog, fire resist, something to deal with opposing Ferrothorn as well, which could be annoying outside Reuniclus, because Elite Seed gets a lot of health back versus Blissey because it's so fat. And yeah, we're gonna go with Moltres. Again, figured to just be the best, just back up from again as well. Boots, of course, and boost defog. Most likely the mystical fire. I like this over flamethrower, especially on more defensive teams. Just being able to basically cripple any special attacker and force them out if they want to stay in the click buttons versus Moltres. Like say Nidoking, you mystical fire, they can no longer stay in the click surge wave. The Fable combining up. Dragapult typically wants to come in on Moltres and you punish that. Things like that. Hydreigons, just some examples. Yeah, so Scorching Sands, as this is also my Heatran switching. So yeah, Moltres. I'm gonna go with a more fast spread. I think it's like, yeah, it's enough speed for Tim and Heatran with some defense to help with Cinderace, and all of that good stuff. What else am I missing? Cinderace, Halucha slightly, Cart if that gets out of hand, and yeah, Moltres is there. So we got a defogger. Yeah, we're looking good so far. So now I want an electric immunity, because Tapu Koko, despite me having a Blissey, could just pressure a Volt Switch, bring in something that mercs Blissey, and then up for us to switch again, and then they can repeat the cycle. So I want a electric immunity, super important in this meta game with all the Tapu Kokos, and even Volt Switch, Zapdos, Volt Switch, Magearna, things like that. So I wanted it to be something offensive, not like a Hippowdon or something that's in the team would just be too passive, right? So Escadrille, it's kind of redundant with Skarm, but it could be used. And even then, I have Rapid Spin from Moltres, not Rapid Spin, Defog from Moltres. So I was like, don't really. It's kind of redundant as far as roles go. Chomp again, I didn't really want to use that again because it's weak to Dazzling Gleam, so it's not even a Koko answer. It's just a pivot more than anything. Powdon, Grass Knot's a problem for it. Obviously, you could outplay, but still, the Nidoking is like the best offensive check to Tapu Koko. Resist, Dazzling Gleam, U-turn, and yeah, it breaks opposing balance, so that helps a lot. Which is T-Tar, Heatran, which Reuniclus and Moltres appreciate. On this one, they're actually gonna go Ace Beam, T-Spike's new Flamethrower. I feel like I can deal well with Ferrothorn enough between Reuniclus setting up on it and Moltres. And then, yeah, we got the Nidoking. Nice and shiny. I love the shiny one. And yeah, T-Spikes is really nice, mostly for Tapu Fini, which can actually switch into Reuniclus if it's not packing Thunder. As +1 side shock's not doing anything, they can taunt and be a problem, knock, all that stuff. But the T-Spikes, you can punish it. And not many things can actually defog on Nidoking outside Corviknight. Like Zapdos doesn't enjoy facing it, Moltres doesn't enjoy taking Sludge Waves. And yeah, if they're like a a defog Landers that doesn't like coming in. Mandibuzz takes a Tundra Mice Beam. It's 2 kill even on Spadef variants. So like Nidoking could be really good here. Like I really like the way it looks on the team. Just provides a breaker that also checks Tapu Koko well, which you don't see too much. Yeah, if they're unaware Clef, T-Spikes helps with that if you opt not to use stored power Reuniclus. So man, that's Nidoking. Like not much to go into. It's just really good mon right now. And last, remember, need a water resist. As you can see, we do not have one. So a Barraskewda would just come in, click liquidation, bodies drop. Urshifu Rapid comes in, click Surgeon Strikes, bodies drop. Like Skarm, Ikaraki helmeted down, but it's still getting to a kill after Stealth Rock. So we need a water resist, something fast. That's also a water resist. So I was looking through it. Dragapult, man, it's too many special attackers. So Blissey would like be very annoying. So I remember something more on the physical end. Just looking at it again, Hydreigon, same problem as Dragapult. Kartana, but it's not exactly a water resist. Doesn't really can't come in on Urshifu, not even once, because the possibility of the close combat. Then Rillaboom is one thing I noticed immediately. I'm actually gonna go with a more unique Rillaboom set. I don't know, Scarf. This used to be a very common set. This is actually one of Rillaboom's only sets back when it was first released, in like DLC 1, I think it was. But yeah, the set doesn't actually see use anymore nowadays. But I still think it's pretty solid. Being able to surprise, Pokemon such as Cinderace, because Woodhammer is actually a 2 KO. That's how strong it is. Even with the Scarf, surprise Dragapult, knock the item off, and then you either take the specs and they can't deal with the rest of your team because they're weak, or you take a life orb off, things like that. Being able to 2 KO things such as Latios after Stealth Rock, and just get surprise kills versus other things in Tapu Lele. I don't know. I still think that Scarf, Rillaboom has a place in OU. Scarf and Bandit are my favorite sets. I'm not too big on Swords Dance. I feel it's pretty inconsistent. Not bad, it's just inconsistent in my experience. So this is why I always use either Band or Scarf. That U-turn is so good. Being able to bring Nidoking and Reuniclus for free. Unpredicted switches, and yeah, provides a check for Rain. One of the best things to have versus Rain, and because it can at least switch into Barraskewda once. Close combat will not Oko you. You can force them out with the Grassy Glide, and potentially set up on their Ferrothorn that's in the back or Reuniclus. So yeah, Scarf Rillaboom just knock support, U-turn support. Also allows me to run Grassy Seed on Reuniclus if I want, which I'm probably going to do. Grassy Seed allows you to get +1 defense, which means, again, you don't care about knockoff because you don't have an item and you're at +1. So, those pesky Weaviles and obstacles will bring anything to you. I'm going to opt for stored power because we're Grassy Seed, so we're getting boost alongside Calm Mind, so we're able to rack those up. So yeah, opting for that over Side Shock, and we're going to Focus Blast, hit dark types such as Hydreigon, T-Tar, Heat Rans, all that stuff. Beat Ferrothorn faster, 1v1, and you hit Mandibuzz as it tries to roost. Yeah, Mount Myrtle on the switch, and that's pretty much it. So, I don't want to run Thunder for Corv. I feel like I did well with that, and 2, Store Power still destroys it after a couple Calm Minds. So and if they roost again, you just Focus Blast, knock them out. And yeah, I just don't really like Thunders. Like the coverage is poor mostly. I guess you hit Tapu Fini, but Tapu Fini is not even a problem for this. You have a Blissey, a Nidoking, a Rillaboom, like it's not a problem. And for this, we're gonna go with a more Spadef spread actually to deal with Latios. From testing, I found that like a Life Orb Psyshock Latios could be a real nuisance because Blissey does not enjoy that. Even with Max Fizz Def, it can still get killed by Psyshock. So I was like, I need a secondary Latios switching so that, the plays are not as obvious. Skarm cannot take Dracos or Mystical Fires, so that wasn't even an option. So yeah, I went with this. Spadef, you're able to take 2 Dracos, and the spread, of course, allows you to outspeed Tox effect so that they cannot haze as you attack them. So there's the Reuniclus set. Yeah, Skarmory, gonna go with Toxic. Here's a whole slew of mods. Let's look through the tiers. So Toxic, Beast, Dragonite, Chomps, Peppowdons, because they'll typically try to come in on Skarm and trade hazards with you. You hit Landorus, Moltres as they try to defog, Zapdos as they try to defog, Mandibuzz, Slowbro, and yeah, just hits a whole lot of mods. I didn't really feel the need for Whirlwind because this team can handle setup. For example, Chomp, I mean, you can't do anything to Skarm anyway. What else sets up that I'm not thinking of? Dragapult, Blissey gets Shadow Ball that down. And DD Dragapult is pretty rare, but if that becomes a problem, you can just switch to Whirlwind, and Excadrill already gets beaten by Body Press. Carts doesn't enjoy taking on Moltres. And yeah, I was like, it's just necessary to have a Whirlwind on this style of team. And so I just went with Toxic. It just punishes a lot of pawns. A lot of mons. Man, just tumbling over my words. And Blissey, gonna go with Stealth Rock because I don't have Stealth Rocks, and I want to keep T-Specs on Nidoking. Tapu Fini, and the other mon I mentioned, I forgot. Titar, right. No Toxic on this Blissey. Just straight Stealth Rock, Shadow Ball, Moltres. Mystical Fire is pretty important. I forgot to mention for Volcarona, so that even if the Quiver Dance up, they're not really doing any type of damage. So you just drop the special attack, and you should be good. Nidoking, Modest. I prefer this because, again, I have things for Heat Train already. So I don't think it's too important to outspeed it, though. Throughout testing, if you find that it's important, you could switch it. And Rillaboom with the Grassy Seed. So that's pretty much the team. Again, let me know what you guys think. If you have success with the team, let me know. Live coming with this soon. I'm not gonna make any promises, but yeah, definitely coming soon as a follow-up for this. And yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.